Hello guys, welcome again back to the channel this morning. A little bit of a late start here, but nevertheless, we are in San Francisco this morning. Got the brand new little scimitar. It's kind of hard to see right now in the morning actually. Winglet mod here. I just picked up, so looking forward to testing that out this morning. It's going to be first flight of the day. We are United Flight 513, going to be servicing over to Denver this morning. Planning on leaving here in the next 20 minutes. It's going to be a little bit tight considering getting to the aircraft a little bit late here, but should be plenty of time to get it turned around here. Copy that. Alright, so first flight, my goodness, it is dark, but that is terrifying. It's scary back there. Let's go ahead and let's get some things turned on here. So IRS, yaw dampers on, EECs rather to norm. Let's see, that looks fine. Emergency lights, limiters, my leg, auto. That looks good. Window heats can come on. Smoking signs on. Seatbelt signs on. That goes to auto 1. Let's see. Field elevation in Denver today is 5434. And we can just round it up to 40 and auto rate to a little arrow there. Equipment coolant's fine. Lights are fine. Let's actually test that guy. And back here, they're not simulated. It's no big deal. Test light off. Just get some air back here so flight attendant can stop bothering us. Trim air on, isolation on, and okay. Alright, MCP, flight director, auto throttle, armed. Let's go down to the side here. We'll test our oxygen. And we've got 1440 or 1748 psi on board. Let's see, altimeter according to Navigraph 3023. Looks about right. As well. All right. Center pedestal here. Auto or RTO. Zero these out, and then let's go ahead and get the irises lined up here. Let's see, we can test our weather radar. Should be that guy. Alright, that looks like a good test to me. Click that off. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the pilot monitoring here. Let's go and run some first flight of the day tests here. So ground prox.
Flight slow. Terrain. Pull up. Sync rate. Pull up. Terrain.
I'm not gonna go through the whole thing here. Takeoff warning again, little workaround, but alright, takeoff config works, TCAS test. Put that on 2. Okay, I guess that works. Flight deck access system, we're not gonna do, and fire warning, so let's cancel our recall messages here. We should see 5 lights. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then fire should see 19, but I know we're not. That looks like a good test too. Standby power, want to see a discharge here on the battery, so that looks good. Back to auto, and then the observer oxygen mass, which I don't think is simulated. So, alright, that's it for first slide of the day items here. Let's go ahead and pop our flight plan in here. So we are KSFO to Denver. And let's see, are United 513. We'll be launching off 1 left this morning, actually. Not the left side, but the right side. Night 4. To Mogi. Go activate that. So from Mogi, we're gonna go join Quebec 124. BVL. That for the longs 3. Camper, and for now we'll just plan for 3-5 left. Let's see which transition we're gonna use here. Good enough for me. We should have roughly, flight plan is 917 nautical miles. Add a whole lot more for the star there. Looks about right. Alright, let's go ahead and get our passengers on board here. So we're gonna go with 149. Looking for 0 fuel weight of roughly 162,100 pounds. So let's hit 149, 162, 2,000. Oh, there we go. 0. Oh, perfect. Let's see here. Block fuel is going to be 24,843. We'll just round that up to 24,900. And that CG looks good enough for me here, so we'll go ahead and load everyone on board here. Let's see, so for our departure, night 4, it's gonna be right turn or common heading 014. top altitude is flight level 190. Yeah, we can do that in LNAV. VNAV's probably not gonna work right now. Nope. Cancel that. Alrighty, I think we've got our fuel and passengers here, so I'm gonna go ahead and plug that there. See, for reserves, we're looking for roughly 2,800 pounds. 2.8. Cruise altitude 390. Cost index, we'll just run up to 80. And then our let's see here. Winds are going to be 320 at 25. We'll do ICAO step size 2,000 feet. And let's go ahead and I'll grab Topcat here. SFO to Denver. 149 on board. And I'm looking for a 0 fuel weight. That's close enough. 1,800. Fuel on board is going to be 24,843. 24,843. Taxi fuel of 700 pounds. And gives us a trip fuel of 15,349. So we should be landing with roughly 8,400 or 700 pounds. Plug this in here. Takeoff weight is 87,1871. Alright, so Topcat says take off flex 5, D rate 1, and then we are going to guess we can take off. I'm looking for, is that right? Beeper of 6.2. We'll find out. Alright, trim 3.7. We'll just go ahead and plug these in here. So 129, 135, 143. And then our big numbers should have already entered in here. So that should be 168 for flaps 1 and flaps up to 08 more or less. Little parallax here. That looks about right. 208 and 168. And for funsies here, I'll just make a note of what our V2 plus 15 is going to be. 143, make that 158. So on rotation, I know what speed essentially I'm going to be aiming for here. Alright, so let's see, 1430. Scheduled to depart here at 14:38. As a matter of fact, let's get this put in here. Studio, there we go. Hey, how's it going, Flint? Good day to you as well, sir. Alright, let's turn this off to get our lights set up here. Don't want floodlights. Do want those. And where is it? Be the chart, the dome light actually does what the dome light's supposed to. How about this one? There we go. I'll tell you what, I like a little floodlight in my autopilot here. That looks good enough for me. Okay, let's go ahead. Is it still dark back there? It sure is. Let's go ahead and brief this up real quick. So, pull up Navigraph here. Let's take a look at the weather really quick. So we are currently in Frisco. Winds are out of the southwest, it looks like. Overcast layer between 300 feet, meters 3023. So weather is good enough to come back to Frisco if we need to. For Foxtrot 22, we'll get pushed back here. More than likely, we'll take Alpha. Join Bravo. We'll take Alpha 1 for runway 1 right. It's going to be the night for RNAV departure. It should say RNAV to MD Bay here, mid-bay. Sure does. So mid-bay, it's going to be climbing to 14, or runway head initially up to 520 feet. Right turn to mid-bay, then track, essentially a left turn to Hush, then night. At or above 8,000 at Rebus, which it does say that here. Then the emoji transition. Emoji transition, and then it's filed. Let's see here. So first light of the day, if we were to have any malfunctions below 80 knots, essentially we're just going to stop for anything, especially if we get a master caution or warning here. Above 80 knots, between 80 and V1, actually, it's just going to be the big four, so fire, fear, wind shear, or just don't think the aircraft is going to take off. After V1, we'll take any emergencies we've got into the air. Got plenty of runway here in Frisco, longest are both 11,000 feet plus, so if we have any emergencies, we can come back here. That's pretty much I have for my own brief. So let's go ahead and run the pre-flight checklist really quick, and as we're doing now, I'll go ahead and start the APU. Alright, pre-flight checklist. So interior and exterior inspection has been completed. Circuit breakers would have been checked. Takeoff warnings checked. Force recorder. Did I check that? Can't test it. Never mind. Force recorder is checked. Fuel panel is set. Pressurization panel. Passenger signs rather is on. Pressurization panel is set. Chemical panel is set. Mode control panel is set. Windows are closed and locked. Oxygen mask was checked. Instrument source selectors are checked. Altimeters 3023. That's cross-checked. Flight nav instruments are checked. Reserve brakes are off. Standby flight instruments are checked. Heading reference switch is on norm. Ground proximity or right switches are off. ICAS is checked. Parking brake is set. Is it? It is. Park brake set. Thrust levers are closed. Fuel control switches are cut off. Radios and transponder. Forgot to log on to VATSIN. Let's connect. UAL 513. We are A75. Alright, while that's coming up real quick, radios, let's set those up real quick. Do we have C? What is CTF here? I guess 25. And we've got, what do you call it? Guard on COM 2, so I'm going to go ahead and say radios and transponder are set. Radar is off. Flight attendant briefing has been complete. Departure briefing is complete. Logbook and QRH is on board. Fuel required. Paperwork says, drum roll please, 24.8. We have got 24.9 on board. Pre-flight checklist is complete. Let's go ahead and disconnect everything here. We are down to T-minus 1 minute. Start unplugging some stuff here. Flint, from what I've seen from Bluebird, I cannot wait. Granted, you know, it's been a couple of months since they've given us an update, which is fine, but everything from Boris's sound packs to just what they're doing with the systems in general, man, I cannot wait. Don't get me wrong, like X-Plane used to be my sim, and when Flight Sim 2020 came around, and that was like my go-to. But you know, I've hopped back onto X-Plane just because I need to get my 7.5 fix. But beyond that, like I cannot wait. This is really the only thing I use X-Plane for, just to fly to 7.5. Otherwise, I'm flying Flight Sim 2020. So once Bluebird comes out, man, I am pretty much going to be strictly flying Flight Sim 2020. But yeah, I cannot wait for Bluebird. Let's see here. What have I got going on? We need to file our flight plan. Pre-flight. Or pre-file, rather. Alright, it says Squawk 3773. I think, if I read that right. Yep. Alright, I think we're good to go here. Let's get rid of all this equipment behind us. Hide. And get my virtual VA coming up here. Log. Alright, while that's coming up here, let's go ahead and set up our pre-plan. We're just going to push .45. It's good enough here.
Ground to cockpit, plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
We'll lock the door. Flight says we are all secured and back. I'll go ahead and turn on our research fan. The captain's going to turn the beacon on. Our fuel pump switches. Hydraulics. Sounds like we're got the jetway moving back here. Let's go ahead and... oh, door's still open. GPU off. Fuel truck. Shocks. Gate config. And let's go ahead and start push back.
Tow is driving up.
Already flying on Vatson. And there's our route. Good deal. Alright, let's actually, before we get going here, run the pushback checklist. Pushback checklist. Doors are closed. Hydraulic panel is set. Fuel panel is set. Flight deck door is closed and locked. And transponder
All
is
doors and hatches are closed. Ready
out
to
on.
land.
Pushback check is complete.
So connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake. Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Alrighty, Bossman said we are cleared to start here, so we'll go ahead and turn AP bleed off. Pack off sign, or pack off the lights come on. APU, or packs off. APU bleed back on. We've got roughly 30, well, more than 30 psi here, so we're good to start. We'll go ahead and start the left engine first. So left side to ground, we'll start our timer. Looking for the N3 to get up to 25% here. That looks good. We'll go ahead and go to run. Alright, nice and quick start. EGT limiter has come off there, so I know the EGT is not going to start going back down, but once it starts going back down, that's when we know we've got a good engine start here, but it's just going to keep coming up until it stabilizes at some point here. So we'll go ahead and start the right side. Let's go ahead and reset our clock here for our starter. Starting the right side, start the clock. It's 25, fuel control to run.
Operation complete.
Alright, engine limit's gone. Everybody wants the brakes on, so brakes are set. We'll go ahead, and we've got two good running generators here, so AP can come off. Any ice is not required today. We've got a little fuel in the center tanks, and I know it will. So in a real airplane, we would just turn the pumps on and just run this tank dry here, but it's for some reason not going to. Even if I turn the pumps on, it's just going to keep running off the wing tanks here. So I'll just leave the wing tanks on. AP bleed off. Isolation valve can come off. Left and right engine bleeds can come on. Packs auto. With the recall switch here, auto brakes RTO, and then let's set our flaps to takeoff configuration, which is going to be 1, 2, flaps 5. Alright, we'll run the after start checklist. Engine anti-ice is off today. Air conditioning panel is set. Recall is checked. Auto brakes RTO. After start checklist is complete. And let's set our trim to 3.7. It's about as close as we can get it anyway. Alright, salutes received, and it's very bright in here. There's a wave off, but he's got the bypass spin. Alright, that's pretty much it. Oh, look at this. The traffic way up there. Not sure if they're going around or what there, but anyway. Salutes received, and we've got flaps 5 set. Let's go and run a taxi checklist here. There's no one out here, so taxi checklist. We've got flaps 5. Let's see, flaps 5 once, twice, and 3 times. Takeoff speeds. We've got 129, 135, 143. Big numbers are 168 and 208, and that looks good. Thrust is going to be D rate of 41, trim 3.7 up there, 0 for our rudder trim here, and 0 for the aileron trim, which is very hard to see. 0 for aileron trim right there. And then flight controls, let's go ahead and check those out real quick. Full left, full, wow, full left, full right. Full left, full right. Love it. Alright, and flight controls are checked. Taxi checklist is complete. Lights off, lights on. Let's see, we are going to taxi via Alpha. We'll join. Let's go Alpha Foxtrot Bravo. Let's see. Frisco traffic, United 513 will be taxiing runway 1 right via Alpha Echo Bravo Alpha 1 for Frisco. Nobody's there, nobody cares. We are clear on the right, clear on the left. She's already moving. Alright, just to quickly brief our departure here. So we're still going to Denver, off runway 1 right. It's going to be B. Night 4, departure, emoji transition, RNAV to mid-bay. We'll be LNAV and VNAV up to flight level 190. Alright, sounds good to me. Oh man. That hurts. You know, Flint, for what you pay for it, I mean, it's the best version we've got. I wish it would be as well too, but it works. And it's honestly it's worked for a long time. It wasn't until like Fly Factor previews their airplane and you're like, oh shoot, this could be so much more detailed, that you start wanting more out of Fly Factor. So, but I don't want to beat down this company too much. They've done a decent job on this airplane. All right, so here is Alpha. We'll join Foxtrot really quick here. And join the Outer Bravo. We got 8 minutes in going here. That was from the starter, but we should be okay for our engine warm up here. Looks like temperatures are all nice and warm, so that's what we want to see. Alright, let's do this before Flight Sim starts giving me some grief later on. Alright, the seats for takeoff. Let's do the before takeoff checklist. So we'll go to TARA. Before takeoff checklist, runway position. That would be 1 right inside, and eventually we get to 1 right outside. Flaps are 5 degrees indicating here, 5 degrees in the box there. Navigation briefing has been completed. Transponder is TARA. Flight attendants have been notified and acknowledged. Packs are auto B for takeoff. Checklist complete. Alright, so we'll take Bravo all the way down to the end. Alpha, Alpha 1. See, I never did use Captain Sim, so I don't have any place to like judge it from. But you're saying Captain Sim was a whole lot more realistic and more simulated than Fly Factor is? There's the approach end of 1 left. Frisco traffic, United 513 will be crossing the approach end of 1 left, taxiing to 1 right via Alpha 1 at Frisco. Oh, Captain Sim was so it was so basic. Yeah, but I was right there with you. I was all about the level D 76 way back when with the FSX. That was pretty much all I ever flew. All right, no one's approaching from this end here. Let's go ahead and make a call and get out of here. Frisco traffic, United 513 will be departing runway 1 right on the night for our nav departure at Frisco. Lights on. Come on. Lights on. And I'll go ahead and start my clock down here. Start the captains as well too. We're in for about 1.1 E per. It's close enough. Advance the throttles and E per please. Data light forward pressure. I think we've got a tailwind today. So neutralize the ailerons, there's 80 knots. Throttle hold, the rest is normal. Just V1, rotate. Aim for roughly 15 degrees, got a positive rate, gear up. LNAV is active. There's 520 feet, right turn to mid-bay. 1,000 feet, climb power. There's E per VNAV speed. And I'll go ahead and turn the autopilot on here. AP's on. Speed's good. Let's go ahead and go to flaps 1. And still accelerating. Flaps up after takeoff checklist. Up and off. Let's see, APU's off, engine anti-ice. Tell you what, 10 degrees right now. Are we in the soup? We are. And it's climbing, so we'll just leave the anti-ice off. Flaps up, landing gear up and off. APU's off, packs are auto, engine anti-ice is, or anti-ice in general is off. After takeoff checklist is complete. Look at those winglets. I'm assuming this is X-Plane's version of like a marine layer of just a fog or something, because there's zero detail out there. Appreciate it, Travis. We just departed off Frisco, going over to Denver. Flight time here, let's see, paperwork says 2 hours and 16 minutes. Alright, coming up through 10,000 feet. We'll ding the flight attendants here. Let's continue accelerating. What are we doing? 308.82. It's pretty fast. Let's limit this to 250 knots, 10,000 feet. I mean, there's nothing stopping me from flying there, but I wasn't planning on it. Alright, let's go ahead and set our cruise altitude of 39,000 feet here. 390. I'm kind of confused, Travis. You're saying you can't fly there? Like you're, for whatever reason, you're not allowed to fly there, or not sure what you're trying to say. Alright, coming up to flight level 180. Go standard on our meter here. (29902). Turn the lights off and run the climb checklist. Climb checklist. Altimeter 29902 is cross check. Climb checklist is complete. Let's see if we can get some tunes here. You know, Travis, I don't even know if I've flown anywhere in Africa in flight sim other than think I've done Dakar. I've tried to fly out of Johannesburg before, but that was a really long flight. I haven't really done a lot of flights out of Africa now that I think about it. Oh man, sunrise is looking pretty darn good right now. I don't know what's going on with these edges though. It's like jagged unless I zoom in. When can I do it? I mean, I suppose I could do it on my next stream. I'll have to take a look at what sceneries they've got. I'm trying hard not to get anything for X-Plane, because as much as I enjoy the sim, especially flying this airplane here, like I'm using it less and less, so I'm trying not to put any more money into the SM, honestly. It's either 2020, Flight Sim 2020 or 2024 is where it's at right now, for me anyway. I really don't know what Laminar could do to try and get more people from the Flight Sim market. Like, I think the terrain is a big thing. Just having the Google Maps and Bing Maps or whatever they use in a flight sim, like that's massive. Now, granted, I'm using Auto Ortho right now, which honestly, I mean, it works very, very well. It's a great alternative, I guess, to what X-Plane has with it. But when it comes to just like the entire environment, man, it's just Flight Sim 2020 and 2024 is where it's at for me. Tell you what, we are right on that barber pole here, so I think I'm actually gonna back off on the, let's see, 310, we'll do 0.81 Mach. Okay, I guess we won't. About 0.81. Okay. And for the cruise speed, let's go with, oh, there's, it put A1 for there, or for me already. $38 for 39. Almost at our top of cruise here. Let's see, at the top of cruise, fuel wise, what we're supposed to have. Let's go to the flight log here. So, supposedly, when we reach our top of cruise here, we should be at 19,500 pounds. We are well above that. As a matter of fact, tell you what, let's go ahead and transfer some fuel here. So, center or the transfer fuel valves open, and since we want to transfer from the high side to the low side, we are going to turn the low side off. Jeez, holy crap! It does not. Wow. It does not transfer that quickly, but okay, we'll take it. Alright, since they're even up now, we'll go and turn these pumps back on. Something I like to do is just to make sure that the fuel flow still doesn't change a whole lot there. So that looks good. Fuel or transfer fuel pumps off, and are we cruising? We are cruising. It is nice and stable so far. We'll go and turn the seatbelt signs off here. Alright, top of cruise. Let's see here. 8.5. What did I say we're supposed to land with? Roughly 8.7 or so. 8.7. So looking good on the fuel situation here so far. Is this what I think it is? Pull up this here so you guys know what I'm looking at. Navigraph, according to Navigraph, it certainly is Lake Tahoe. How about that? So I just went to Reno for the first time last week, and you know, prior to this, at my regional, I never went anywhere beyond, anywhere west of Dallas. So I basically did a whole lot of East Coast flying. And one thing I've noticed, especially coming out west, is just how freaking big this country is. And there's a lot of land out here that it's just, especially like in the Midwest, in the central United States, like there's just a whole lot of farmland and a whole lot of nothing and a whole lot of desert. I always thought before joining the airlines that once you start flying a whole lot, and especially if if you're US based and you just did a whole lot of transcons and you started getting used to going across the country, like the world would just seem so much smaller, especially if you did international flights. But if anything, it's just being in the airline world just made me realize just how big this freaking planet is. It's freaking massive. But yeah, there's Reno. Nice little stay there. It was actually a lot cooler than I thought it was going to be. It was, I think when we arrived, it was in the 50s. And then the following day, it was just a high of the 30s. And they were calling for snow, actually, when we were, while we were going to leave later that day. Thankfully, it never did. It did become, like, broken to overcast later in the day, but it never did snow before we left. And just out of curiosity, while we were back on our way back towards the East Coast, I was looking at the weather, and sure enough, they were calling for light snow. So pretty glad we got out of there. It's a long week for me. This is just what, last week. It's a very nice morning. Let's see. Well, one thing we can do, I suppose, I mean, we're well out of the game here, but let's go through our approach here. And let's make sure it's programmed in a box the way it's supposed to be anyway. So, get my camera right here. Alright, let's see. We'll be coming in from camper to graze, then bike 280 knots at or above 25,000, bivvy 280, and then for some reason the at or above, or the in between 27 and 23 is not in here, so let's see if we can correct that. Alright, so 280 knots. Between 27 and above 23, below 27. Alright. Vestal 280 between 21 and 25. Then longs 220 or 270 between 19 and 22. Funnel 250 between 16 and 21. And then from our transition here, it looks like we'll go to helmet. Does that look right? Nope, we're going to dork. Actually, I'm confused here, so that's... Okay, I see dork between 15 and 17. I don't think it's going to let me put an altitude unless I put a speed here. But let's give it a try between 15, 17 at dork. Oh, I guess it did. Helmet, then Archie above 13. Baba between 12 and 14 at 250 knots. Then Hi Mom 250 or 210 at hard altitude of 11,000 feet, and then from there we can do the 3-4 left right or 3-5 left transition, and we'll use 3-5 is what we're planning for. So vectors to group at or above 1,000. That looks good. Sweet. And tell you what, while we're at it, let's just go ahead and plan for everything else, right? So, got a decision altitude of 560 or 5,634 feet. So, I'll get rid of Navgraph here really quick. 5,634 feet. So essentially we're just going to plug in, we'll get rid of that last number, and we'll plug in 634 feet here. So there's 2, and somewhere in the middle, it's about 6,630 feet there. Slide over, we'll do that on the captain's side as well too. 630. Alright, let's go back into Navgraph here. Final approach course of 353. 353. And we could set this here. I don't know if it'll save the last digit. Nope, it doesn't. So, real bird, if you decimal point to the right here, if we were to put like 108.5 and then we would close the box, it would save the 0.5 there, as well as the front course, but it just keeps reverting back to like the default setting here, which is fine. We don't need that right now. Let's see what else. That's pretty much it. The only other thing I can think of to get well ahead of the game here is, in order to get our V speeds for our bugs here, is to go into the progress page, and right now it's saying we're estimating to land with 9.2 pounds, and if we were to go up here, we're showing 19.5 pounds. Speaking of which, record Marcus. Let's see. Marcus, according to our paperwork, we look like we're far ahead of the game here. But if we were to look at our paperwork, and essentially this is what we do during cruise, you just kind of go through and kind of knock off these waypoints just to make sure you're checking the fuel to see what you've actually got against what the paperwork says here. So we should have had about 17.9 thousand pounds of fuel, but looks like we are well ahead of the game here because we crossed Macus with 19.6, so we've got a whole lot more fuel, and it just comes down to like the profile. I guess I've got a little bit more fuel saved than the paperwork shows us burning more than the actual airplane is, so I'm gonna have to figure out what the profile is there for that. But regardless, we are supposed to land with 9.2, so up here it says 19.4, so that's roughly 10,200 pounds. If we were to subtract our gross weight here, so current gross weight right now, what's going on here? Not entirely sure what just happened, but that's what I get, I guess, for using the TV as a PC monitor. But anyway, what was I saying? So we are supposed to land 9.2. We're currently, we've got roughly 10,000 pounds here. So if we were to go into our approach ref, we can actually put the anticipated gross weight once we land, so 171.5, and that'll actually change our reference here. Now, in a real airplane, if you if the other person is not on the same page and you revert back to like another page here, then it should kick this back to the gross weight, which was what, 181.4. Doesn't do that here, but that's what would happen in the real bird. But anyway, we go back to 171.5, and that should give us our V speeds. So normally we'll land at flaps 25 in this airplane, and that's we use flaps 25 reference speed plus 5, and we never really land with the reference speed here. Really, you'd want to be flaring and like almost touching the ground at that speed of 124. So what we like to do is come up here to the front course for the VOR DME. Since we never really use this, we just use it as a like a little reminder. So we'll set 129 here, which again is just our flaps 25 speed plus 5. So 124 plus 5 is 129. We'll set that up here. Some people like to set the base speed of 124, and then they'll just add the 5 when we're approaching. Some like to just put the number in here so there's no extra math involved. So 129, and then we'll use, regardless of if we're using flaps 30 or flaps 25 to land, we use our reference speed of flaps 30 plus 40 for our flaps 5 speed, and then flaps 30 plus 80 for our clean speed. So essentially that'll be what, 202, and it'll automatically do this for us here. So if I were to just click flaps 30, it'll slide the bug to 202 and 162. Click. So there's 202 and 162. I think even if I were to go to flaps 25, it might change these numbers, or these our bugs up here for the flaps 25, but I think it'll keep the other. Nope, didn't change anything at all. But anyway, our ref is going to be flaps 25. It doesn't look like it's cancel. Just clear this out here. So yeah, the ref. So essentially at this 202, we need to have at least flaps 1 by this speed, and then flaps 5 by this speed. But realistically, anytime we're going to go below our flap limit speeds here, so flaps 1 is 124. Once we're like 10 knots below that, I go ahead and set the flaps to 1. Once we're 10 knots below flaps 5, so 210, I'll go ahead and set flaps 5. And if you know we're going to be slowing down to like those speeds, then that's when I set the flaps. If I know we're going to be doing 250 knots, 230 knots for a little bit, then I might leave the flaps just clean for a little bit. But if I know we're going to go below those speeds and stay below those speeds, that's when I'll start to put the flaps in here. But all that being said, we are pretty much ready for the approach, other than to brief it once we actually finally get towards our closer to our destination here. Going back into the position report page, McCord, we were supposed to cross at, or I should say with 17.3, and we crossed with 19.1. So we're just not burning as much as I thought we should here during cruise. The real airplane, it definitely varies. Some airplanes burn a little bit more than others, but it's roughly like, I'd say 6,000 to 7,000 pounds per of fuel per hour, just depending on the airplane, and especially if you've got these shiny winglets out there. Yeah, see what I mean? Just a whole lot of freaking desert out there. And what's like terrifying about all this to me is like when you look at the roads, it's like city and then like 100 miles or so, and like nothing between just another city. It's like if you pop a tire, your engine goes out, like you're done, man. There's just nothing out here. Alright, so Real Bird is parking at Bravo 24. Bravo 24 is, I think, on the south side, right? Parking gates. Yep, south side. So if we were to land on 3-5 left, like 6 or 7, cool beans. I don't even know where we are right now. It's always what you want to hear. What you want to hear from the flight deck. Oh, it's just about over Salt Lake, it looks like. Oh. Don't know that I have a good Salt Lake scenery. I've got to take a look at my custom scenery folder here, but something tells me I do not. Just sit back and enjoy the scenery for a little bit here. Well, we're getting closer and closer, guys. The camper is essentially the start of the SID here, or the star rather. But we're not going to start our descent for a little bit longer. It looks like Top of D finally did show up here, so we're currently, let's see, 16:39. Roughly another 20 minutes or so before we start our descent. Seems like Denver Center came online here, and according to Navigraph, we should be switching over just before camper, so I'll go ahead and get that frequency prepped here. Two 765. Well, I just got this auto ATC message that says that Salt Lake Center advises to send and maintain flight level 370. And, tell you what, we'll go ahead and honor that. Why not? So there's 3070 here. And we can recruise at 370. Now, I could just go ahead and do that in VNAV. But I'm actually just going to take it into my own hands here and just, we'll do a nice descent down to 370. So that way people in the back don't even know we're descending. VNAV, excuse me, if we're going to do it where I just click VNAV, it'll go back to, I think, EPR VNAV speed, and essentially it'll start a descent at roughly like 1200 feet per minute. It'll, and then at some point it'll go back to a throttle hold, it should anyway, and then you can adjust the throttle lever and kind of adjust the descent rate that way. But I figure in the real world I just kind of, I like doing it this way just because it's nice and smooth. Smoother in my opinion anyway. Alright, 38 for 37, one to go. Go ahead and tune
Number 93 Whiskey Bravo.
Denver Center here.
Clear to Denver via radar vector taxi, then as filed. Maintain 15,000. Departure with me. Squawk 5572. Okay, clear to Denver via the Hackey. Ski 3 as filed. Well, that is as filed. And climb maintain 15,000. Departure with you. Squawk 5572. November 93 Whiskey Bravo. November 93 Whiskey Bravo, read back correct. November 93 Whiskey Bravo, you can expect runway 11 for departure. Runway 11 for departure, roger that, 93 Whiskey Bravo. Denver Center, Frontier 2141, Frontier Flight 2141, Denver Center, push and starts approved, push straight back, stop at the first line, call for taxi. Push straight back, we'll call back for taxi, Frontier 2141.
Alright, there's Denver Center asking to contact them here, so let's go ahead and do that. Denver Morning United 513 checking in, file 370.
United 513, Denver Center, welcome.
Two-way communication established.
Denver Center, November there a departure for me, or is it just none? Is it Grant 2? Number 93 Whiskey Bravo. Sorry, yeah, it's the Grand 2 departure, radar vector's hacky. It's just a radar vector departure, so you'll get radar vectors off the ground. Okay, radar vectors. Roger that, 93 Whiskey Bravo, thank you. From.
Alright, so we've already talked about the approach, but I guess we can do the official brief now. Let me pull up Navigraph for you guys again. Layers. How do I get rid of this? There we go. Weather. Current weather. According to that sun anyway, so we are going to be arriving. Looks like 34, 35 left and 35 right. Let's see, where's 34 right? 34 right would be way over here. There's 35 left and right. I'm just going to assume 35 left. If he gives us something else, then we can brief that up again. But for the approach, actually, let's take a look at the weather. I'm getting ahead of myself here. So weather, that's in. We've got information for arriving Delta. Winds are 0108, 7 miles visibility, light snow, and broken layer 4,520,000 feet. Temperature is just above freezing. Meter is 2982. Let's go ahead and set that on our standby. Oops, where we go? 2982.
Southwest 106 at Bach, cleared ILS, runway 35.
292, and then expect ILS or nav or visual approach. Simultaneous approaches and use for 34 right, 35 left, and right NOTAMs. Bird activity in airport. So check the weather there. For the arrival itself, it's going to be the Longs 3 RNAV arrival into Denver. We've checked the fixes already, corrected the altitudes as well too. Looks like the bottom here is going to be 11,000 feet at Hymon. So once we get the descend via, we can set 11,000 feet, and the VNAV should respect all the altitude restrictions here, and as well as the speed restrictions. But we'll see. We'll see what happens there. For the approach itself, we'll plan for the visual for 35 left. We'll back it up with the ILS. This is on page 1111. Final approach course of 353. Frequency is going to be 108.5, which we will set once we are a little bit closer towards the ground here. Diamond is the final approach fix here at 7,000 feet. For the bottoms, we've already discussed. It's going to be barrels at 5634. That's set on both sides here. Airport elevation is the same as the touchdown zone of 5,434 feet, and then safe is going to be 9,200 feet in all sectors around the Denver VOR. For the published mist, we'll probably just get radar vectors. The published mist itself, though, is to climb at 10,000 feet, then a right turn direct to the Gill VOR and hold. More likely to again, we'll just get radar vectors.
Denver Center, Frontier
The
21.
runway itself has got ASLF2, Pappy's on
Frontier Flight
the
21,
right side.
41, runway
It is
25,
12,000
taxi
feet
by
of,
Alpha November,
I'm assuming,
Golf.
concrete. I don't know how to tall. I don't think we can tall that.
Taxi to runway 25
Runway
via
it is
Alpha November, Golf, Frontier 2141.
I don't think it's going to be on here. Anyway, it's 12,000 feet of runway. Plan for a left turn off. Let's see here. I could probably make Mike 6, honestly, but if we need to roll down to Mike 7, no biggie. Let's go with auto brakes as high as we are. 3 is kind of the norm in my airline. We can use auto brakes too, I suppose. Auto brakes too, probably idle reverse. Should get off off at Mike 6 here. And we'll take Mike 6. And however, the ground wants us to get to Bravo 24.
Southwest 2307,
at some point we'll end up
Albuquerque
either,
Center on 132.8. We'll see you.
we'll either stay on Mike here or we'll get onto Lima and we'll enter in at 3. Is it 3 East or? Not sure which side we're dinner on. So standard routes. These are taxi routes. And starting point. I'm sorry, these are taxi routes. Outbound. So my assumption is, let's see if we're on the south side of Beacon course. This is 4 East. 4 East. So my assumption would be we could come in then on 3 East and then transfer over to the what do we call it, the north side and go over to Bravo 24.
Number 93 with Bravo, roger. On departure, fly runway heading, runway 11, clear for takeoff. Fly runway heading, whatever takeoff, 92 Whiskey Bravo.
And top of the descent's getting pretty close here.
Southwest 106, runway 35 left, clear to land. 35 left, clear to land, Southwest 106.
Center, Eagle 701 in respect.
Flight 701, roger. Number 93 Whiskey Bravo, radar contact, the altitude passing. 5600 for 150. Number 93 Whiskey Bravo, climb maintain, flight level 310. 310, 93 Whiskey Bravo. Number 93 Whiskey Bravo, clear direct Hackey. Clear direct Hackey, 93 Whiskey Bravo. Frontier Flight 2141, RNAV Bracco, runway 25, clear for takeoff. Frontier 2141, RNAV Bracco, takeoff, runway 25.
Well, top of these here. Got the reset MCP altitude message here on the FMS or FMC.
Control aircraft, never will be closing in 5 minutes.
Oh, never mind. Guess we might be doing this on our own after all.
Central aircraft departure Chase Romeo, runway Echo current at Denver, altimeter 2983.
Copy 2983.
Frontier Flight 2141, radar contact, the altitude passing.
Alright, if he doesn't give us a descend via here, I'm going to ask for lower.
Frontier 2141, crossing 6,500.
Frontier Flight 2141, climb maintain, flight level 300, clear direct solar.
Climb maintain, flight level 30, clear direct solar. Thank you.
Center. Oops.
Eagle Flight 701, leave my airspace to the west. Salt Lake City Center's offline, radar service terminated, frequency change approved. See ya.
Switching advisory Eagle 701, see ya.
Center, can United 513 get lower?
United 513, descend via the Longs 3 arrival, Denver landing north.
Rod descend via the Longs 3 landing north, United 513. It's definitely not uncommon to get a late clearance like that either, so not out of the ordinary. Girlfriend's gonna have to slow her roll down though. Jeez.
Center Southwest 106, clear 35 left at Mike 6.
Southwest 106, welcome to Denver. Taxi, Mike to parking, we'll see ya.
Mike to parking, Southwest 106 feet.
Alright, there is 11 for hi mom. And again, the airplane should respect all the altitude and speed gates here, so we'll see. We'll just monitor here. Excuse me. Let's go down to progress page 2 and monitor the vertical tracker. Right now we're a little bit on the high side, but that's fine, especially considering that the our meter setting is going to be a little bit on the lower side. So oh, okay, and then it just snaps right into being on the path. So there you go.
Frontier Flight 4371, I'm closing up shop here. Your radar service is terminated. Frequency change approved. We'll see ya.
Frequency change approved, Frontier Flight 4371, see ya.
Alright, 513, I'm closing up shop here. Radar service terminated. Frequency change approved. We'll see ya. Number 93 Whiskey Bravo, I'm closing up. Your radar service terminated. Frequency change approved. We'll see ya.
Oh, there goes that.
Switching over to your com. Thank you for your ATC.
Let's go to Unicom.
Fantastic day. 93 Whiskey Bravo.
Okay, so bike, we're supposed to be 280 knots, so airplane, it's not respecting my authority. 280.81, how about that? Nope, still not doing it. There we go, so there's idle. VNAV speed, I'm going to bring the speed brakes up here. Which kind of sucks doing this 30,000 feet, but you kind of got to do what you got to do. Alright, well, I think might be a little bit better off here. So progress page 2 again, we are right on the path. Doing 280 knots. Bivy, we need to cross at, I'm not sure what this lady's singing about, but she is singing her heart out right now. Navigraph. Let's see. What am I looking at? Bivy. Excuse me. Bivy, we are level at 270 for some freaking reason. That was not a hard altitude. Okay. We need to continue going down. So why are we not? Why are we not going down? Oh wait, alright, let's go flight level change. VNAV. Come on girl, figure it out. Vestal, yeah, at or above 21. I mean, I get it, yeah, technically, but we're supposed to be. Watch, this airplane is about to dive here. Below 21, above. Yep, knew it. So it's like I put the put the bottom altitude first, and for some reason it's not even respecting the top altitude at all. Alright, so let's see, you got longs next, 270. I guess I have to go back in here, and I mean this stuff should have been in here by itself, but below 19, above. Alright, at least it's like you figure out what the kinks are and then you can work with it, but just I wish it would work the way it's supposed to initially. 250 above, 21 below. Whoops. 21 below, 16 above. Dork. Dorky. Dorky between 17 and 15. 17 below. 15 above. And then Archie above 13. Baba between 14 and 14 and 12. And then Hi Mom at 11. So maybe now it'll follow the path the way it's supposed to. And we'll just keep watching and monitoring. There's a whole lot happening with this scenery right now. Okay, so flannel between 21 and 16 at 215 knots. So, speed should have backed off by now, 250 knots. But, once again, it has not. I do not know why. Speed intervened, 250 knots. Let's see if we go back to close the window. Now that we've closed the window, I don't understand. Like, we need to be at 250 knots before we get to the fix, not when we get to the fix. Now we're slightly above the path. I'm gonna go ahead and set our meter of 2983 on my side and the captain's side as well. Alright, coming up to flight level 180, let's go ahead and run the descent checklist. Descent checklist, altimeters 2983, that is cross-check. Minimums, so let's go back and take a look-see. I'll delete this. Why not? Alright, so we'll go with the ref of... Whoops. Doing this wrong way here. 23. Go with a Fox 25, ref is 125, so that'll make our... we'll just do 135, or 130. Fox 25, ref is 125, that's cross-check. Landing data. Oops, did that wrong here. So minimums, Barrow is going to be 5634. That's cross-check. Landing data. Flaps is flaps 25. Ref is 125. That's cross-check. Approach briefing is complete. Auto brakes 2 set. Seatbelt signs are on. Pressurization panel is set. And last but not least, recall is checked. Descent checklist complete. Where are we? And what are we supposed to be doing? Door key between 17 and 15. 250 knots is fine. So Archie is next at or above 13,000 feet. So there she goes. Alright. Back off on this music here. Coming up to Archie. Archie, we need to cross at about 13,000. Then Baba's next 215 knots between 12 and 14. So, looking good so far. Alright, so AGL wise, we are below 10,000 feet. So since we're so close, we'll go ahead and doing the flight attendants. Let's get our lights on here and we'll run the approach checklist. Last, I'll leave the nose gear light off just to, it would be like a visual indication for myself to know that we are not clear to land yet. But last but not least, frequency 1085. I think that's what we said here. Yep. Alright, so approach checklist, flight nav instruments. So we're going to verify that we've got 35 left, 108.5, front approach or front course is 353. So that matches what we've got down here. So that is verified. Cabin notification has been complete, and altimeters we've still got 2983, and that is cross-check. Approach briefing is complete. Alright, so Baba, what did I say? Baba, we needed to cross at above 12 and below 14. Alright, downwind from the airport here. Alright, so now that we're descending, we're slowing to 210 knots. It's probably asking for a drag. I don't think we necessarily need it quite yet, but our speed, flap speed limit here for flaps 1 is 240 knots. So once we get to 230 knots and descending, go ahead and select flaps 1. Got some serious stutters right now. Alright, so flaps 1 just brings our slats down. And for the time being, that's good enough. So here's our first and only hard altitude of 11,000 feet here at Haimon. From this point on, we'll get vectors, and since there's no ATC on, let me just make sure. Nope, closest is KC Center. But since the one is on, I'm gonna go ahead and broadcast on 22.8 here, and we'll just do a visual for runway 35 left. So Diamond is the final approach fixed at 7,000 feet. The next one before that is Selby. Selby, according to the chart, says we need to cross that at 9,000 feet. So we'll go and descend down to 9 now. So there's 9,000 feet. We'll go to flight level change. We'll maintain 210 knots. Alright, so there's 10 for 9. Let's go ahead and turn inbound here. 90, give me left turn of 080. And let's see, inside Selby, let's go ahead and use Diamond. And inbound course is 353. Extend our center line here, and tell you what, let's continue our descent down to 7. Let's do 8,000 for now. 8,000 flight level change, 210 knots. Right, there's 8,000 feet. Turn left to 030. And let's go ahead and select flaps 5 here. Go ahead and RMD localizer as well too. Oh, not entirely sure why we're turning right here. Airplane should be turning left. Should be turning left. Should be turning left. Oh, pot's coming off. I don't know why she's doing this. It's 30 degrees. I know. Okay, not sure why she did that, but let's see. Localizer looks like it's coming back in the right direction here. I'm actually gonna wait until the localizer or the flight director is not pegged all the way to the left here before I arm the autopilot back on. Alright. Looks coming back in here. It's so weird. I don't know why it's doing that. Let's go ahead and slow down 180 knots here. Alright, glide slip is captured. What is going on? Alright, 2,500 feet. I'm gonna go ahead and bring the gear down. Missed approach altitude is, we said, 10,000 feet. $10,000 feet. Let's go ahead and slow to a front approach of 130. Speeds are good. Let's bring the flaps down to 20. It does look like it's reverse sensing. I don't know why it's doing that. It's so weird. I mean, now it looks like it's right. Something tells me it had something to do with the that intercept course. I don't know why. Every time I do that, it just like throws the FMC into like chaos. But yeah, it definitely looks like it's reverse sensing right now. I don't know why. Anyway, we'll just manually fly it in. It looks like we're on a high side too. Alright, tell you what, let's just go ahead and kick autopilot, or autopilot's already off, about auto throttle's off. Yeah, it's so bizarre. Like, look, it's saying I am almost full deflection off the glide slope, but then the PAPI's saying that I'm on a high side. At this point, let's just get the airplane on the ground. That's what I'm thinking. So 130 knots, and we done froze. Whew. We're sinking pretty good right now. All right, there's 1,000 feet per minute. That's a little bit more stable. Yep, go figure. We'll just fly manually. It's a long runway. Alright, there is right on 3-degree glide path. Let's ease off on our descent here. Bring power down to idle. And we'll just hold our pitch as we float. Sheesh. Down the freaking runway. Alright, there is reverse. Bring the nose down here, and we'll just coast down idle reverse. Ugh, that was ugly. Alright, there's 80 knots. I'll go ahead and kick the reverse off. Auto brakes are off as well, too. I think my reverse is off. There it goes. And And as we planned for November, make that alpha. Mike 6, jeez. Numbers. Letters. Alright. We are clear on the right here. Let's go ahead and retract the flaps. And I'll start my timer here for the engine cooldown. And excuse me. We'll run through. Yeah, I appreciate it, Brown. That's pretty ugly. Let's go through the after landing checklist. Out on. Let's get our trim back to 4 degrees. Auto brakes to off. Clear the flight directors here. And let's go ahead and start the APU. Whoops, and I forgot to turn the nose gear light on. So I'm not a captain, I guess. Alright, let's come in via, we said, oh, slow down. Three east. Alright, we'll slide on over towards the north side here. Looks clear enough. Nobody's exiting right now. Looks like we've got another company Airbus down there. Alright, so here is B south. Follow this line. Should be about halfway down the center of the west side of the concourse here. All right. Timer, we've got about 1 minute and 55 seconds. APU should be coming up. There it is. It's running. We'll turn the bleeds off. APU bleed on. Isolation valve opened. And we'll give our engines 1 more minute before we'll shut them down. I think we'll shut down our right side. We're making a left turn. Let's see here. Bravo 20. There's 22, there's 28, 26. Alright, it's a couple of gates down from the Airbus down there, it looks like. Oh, sweet. Check that out. A Learjet landing on the, on 3-4 right here, looks like. Alrighty, where is 24? That's 20. Uh-oh. There it is. Sorry, folks. Watch your next. Two-4, turn the lights off. We've got 3 minutes and counting on our engine here, so we can safely shut her down. Set the park and brake. Park and brake is set. And pressure is good. We'll let them up. And shut her down. Boop, boop. Shut down checklist. Por favor. Alrighty, shutdown checklist. Parking brake is set. Hydraulic panel is set. Fuel pump switches are all. Seatbelt signs off. Engine anti-ice is off. Fuel control switches are cut off. Transponder is standing by. Red anti-collision light is off. Shutdown is complete. Not entirely sure what was going on there on that approach, guys, but regardless, like Mr. Brown said, we made it. I'm going to go back through the stream here and see what I could have done better. I don't believe I have a whole lot of time to stream again today. But that being said, I'm going to try and get on again next week. Not entirely sure what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll do the flight over to from Africa, as Travis had requested there. But guys, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, we'll try and do it again, if not later today, more than likely next week sometime. So thanks again for tuning in. I'll see you guys on the next one.